Should you be doing things while you're filming your TikToks and your Instagrams to keep people's attention? This is a question that is totally dependent on what your brand and your business is. Now, if you have things that are going to be higher end pieces of content, things you're going to want to repurpose for your business, things you're going to want on your YouTube channel, things you're going to want to use as precursors to webinars and things like that. Higher end is better. You do not want to be looking away from the camera. You don't want to have things in your hand. You don't want to look like you're multitasking. If you need to be more professional, keep it on the more professional side. But if you're just having relational conversations, especially for TikToks and Instagrams, doing things at the same time you're filming is actually really going to help you out because it adds visual interest to what you're doing. Think about it. If we're giving people 10 seconds of our time, do we want to sit there while they're staring at us the entire time, looking straight at the camera and having conversation that seems kind of scripted, kind of planned out? Or do we want to pop into their kitchen while they are working on a hat for their nephew and we get to see what they're doing while they're also chatting with us in kind of a friendship, relational kind of way? You are going to be able to get people's attention if you stop to do your makeup while you're also talking, or you're crocheting a hat, or you're doing your dishes, you are preparing dinner. These also help for things like relational live streams on TikTok, not the professional ones on YouTube. So can you? Absolutely. Should you? Sometimes, yeah. We do want to multitask. We want to show the behind the scenes of what our life is like. And the nice thing about this is if you are doing something, it also gives people something to comment on. So let's say I was filming a TikTok. This is an up and down video. People are able to see more of what I'm working on, and I'm just sitting here talking to you about a topic. Maybe you do not connect with the topic I'm talking about, or maybe you don't have a question about it, or maybe you don't want to be the first kid in class to raise your hand and ask about whatever businessy topic I'm speaking about, but you want to know what I'm making or why I'm making it or how I learned to do that. That gives a whole nother realm of conversation that we can be having. Having something going on screen gives visual interest. It makes people stop the scroll, and it gives them another way to discuss whatever with you, which then opens the door to more conversation. So people can get in the comments and say, oh, well, how did you learn how to do that? How did you do that one really cool thing with your makeup? How did you get your hair to do that while I watched you style it? Can you actually slow down what you were doing and give us a tutorial on how you were designing your hair? Can you talk to us about how you were crafting or doing whatever it happens to be? And you can create more content that is more community building through that. So here's how you decide. If this is going to be something that you are going to be reusing, that you're going to be using it in a more professional business sense, if you're going to be using it to drive traffic specifically to your business or your service or something that you sell or something that you create, keep it a little bit higher end. You want to have a little bit more of a professional background. You want to make sure that you're directly speaking to the camera and not just looking up and down all the time. You want to make sure that you're delivering good quality content. You're having those conversations. If it's something that is not going to directly lead to sales, you're not going to repurpose it or reuse it. If you are not going to use it in another way or have it represent your business, it's not going to be one of your staple core pieces, then by all means, if you're doing stuff, do stuff. It adds the visual interest. It gives you a common denominator. It gives you something to talk about with people, and it stops the scroll more so than somebody just looking at the camera and directly speaking to the audience. So I like to do a mix of both. And the more you do it, the more you're going to find out what your audience resonates with. It doesn't have to be the same thing every time. If you want, you can absolutely make it something that is going to make sense for you. One of my mentors used to have a segment where every single so often, once a week I think it was, she would do a live stream and she would start it off by making coffee, and she made coffee with her audience and then answered business questions. I know people who could sit there and crochet something really cool while also delivering a really good message, and every time they could crochet something new. Some people are going to want to do it just however you're doing your daily life. It could be while you are in the parking lot waiting at a store for somebody to come out, or waiting for a store to open. You're in the car and you're doing something, you're kind of fiddling around with stuff. It could be baking your desserts that you were going to be taking to a party. It could be picking out your outfit for the day. You could stand there and hold things up in the mirror and have a conversation with people. It could be your makeup. It could be your hair. It could be getting your coffee ready. It could be baking. It could be cleaning. It could be unloading the dishes from the dishwasher. Anything that you are going to naturally be doing can get people's attention and get them to stop the scroll, take a look at what you're doing, and then again opens the option of having conversation with you in multiple ways. And you know what? If you are doing things, sometimes it's a little bit of a gateway. If you are stumbling a little bit or if you kind of forget your words, it's a little more of a casual way of doing it. Whereas if you were just speaking direct to camera and being a little more professional, those stumbles, those might not be something that you necessarily want to leave in or something you might have to redo. So having a little more casual allows them to come into your life as a business person. and having a little more professional shows your status within the industry that you're working in. So a combination of both is incredibly helpful, and it's up to you what's going to work best. The more you try things, the more you're going to find what gets you those bonus questions, those bonus conversations, and what is going to really push the needle inside of your business and which way you should do either of them. If you've got questions, let's go ahead and drop it down below. And if you need help on how you should be creating content, live streaming, etc., go ahead and drop those questions down below. We want to make sure we're getting those answered for you, and we want to make sure that we are helping you to make the most out of your time, because this is also a really great way to save yourself a little bit of time and effort on certain days when you are busy, when you're doing things. I love being able to do things like my live streams and crochet a project for my nephew or for my nieces, or do all sorts of fun, fabulous, wonderful things, create things for myself, create things for my dogs. I can be signing books because I'm an author. I can be doing all these things on my live streams while also having a conversation with people, and allows them to see what I'm doing behind the scenes and what my lifestyle is really like, and it allows you to do that as well. And then we have this distinction between the super high-end professional type content that's going to push the needle and that community building relational content, and having the mix of both really is going to work in your favor, saves you some time and effort, and allows you to multitask while you're also having those conversations. We will see you in the upcoming episodes as we help you continue to learn to grow as an entrepreneur, save time, effort, and stress so that this can be your most profitable year, because your business is working on your behalf while you're off living your best life and still being profitable inside of your business. We'll see you then.